Perfect. Welcome to a special edition of SWAC Talk, man. This is a show we cover the SWAC inside and out. Of course, I'm your tour guide around the SWAC Seawells. And this video that I'm doing today, as you can see on the screen, trouble on the Bluff. Can Southern's offense be fixed? I was actually going to do this video Saturday, but I didn't for a couple of reasons. One, my voice was shot to hell after the game. So I really couldn't talk that much. And two, I wanted to kind of really approach it more with a clear mind and not just be, reactionary and everything fresh out the game, because, I was pretty heated, even with a win, the game was kind of tough, was kind of tough to handle. So, wanted to kind of sit down and think it through before I talk, which is always a good thing. So that was the main reason why I decided to just wait and do this now. So it's gonna be more of a thought out topic, although it's more of a freestyle than anything. But this is not gonna be a bash session. I'm not gonna come down on anybody hard. I'm not gonna come down on the coaches like necessarily. I'm not gonna come down on players because I really try not to do that. But this is gonna be some feelings that I have, and everybody that follows Southern probably has some of the same feelings. So first and foremost, I'm not gonna talk about the defense because the defense has played really, really solid all season. I mean, yes, they've had they've had a couple games where they've given up some yardage, but they've bent but not broke all season long. And Southern's 4-1 in conference right now, so they're in the thick of the division race, even with all of the inconsistencies on offense, but I feel like that's not sustainable. So my biggest issue with Southern right now is three things, and they're all combined. My first problem is consistency. The offense, week by week, you don't know what you're gonna get. 1 week they might throw the ball for 250, 300 yards. The next week they might run for 150, 200 yards and throw for 120. Then you end up with a game like Saturday where the offense just was stagnant, man. If it wasn't for a big run in the first half by Kendrick Grimes and a big run by Kendrick Grimes at the end of the game, Southern would have probably gotten shut out unless they were able to kick some field goals, because the offense was put in tremendous position, drive after drive. The first two drives for Southern last week, they got the ball inside the TSU 40 off of a fumble and off of a snap over the head of the punter. And you come out of there with no points. And not only do you come out of there with no points, you come out of there with no yardage, basically. Gonna take a little gander at the drive chart for the game, and just because it gives you a better idea of what the offense was doing. They really just could not make some things happen. And TSU is a defense who has talent. They have a lot of guys that are not playing right now, and the defense has really been rough all season. I mean, this is a defense that gave up 36 points a game. After this game, they gave up more than that coming into this game, and they were also ninth in total defense, last in rushing defense, and sixth in passing defense. So that played into what Southern should have been doing, but they just, TSU played, they played a tough game. I don't take nothing away from them. For Southern offensively, they hurt themselves. Southern in the first quarter, they got the ball at the TSU 36, and they turned it over on downs. They drove two yards on 4 plays, turned it over on downs. Only had the ball with 54 seconds. They got the ball again after TSU turned the ball over with a fumble. They got the ball this time at the TSU 36. They went negative 13 yards and had the punt. Got the ball back at their own 30. They went 9 plays for 47 yards. That was probably their best drive in the first quarter. Their next drive was the touchdown drive. They got a 69-yard touchdown off of that drive. After that, they went. They got the ball at their 10-yard line, and they went 6 plays for 17 yards. They got the ball again at their own 38. They went 7 plays for 20 yards, turned the ball over on downs, and then TSU got the ball and nailed it out. So they did also miss a field goal in there somewhere. But this was a first half that, just as you can see, not a lot going on, man. The passing game wasn't there. I think they had like 14 or 15 yards passing on the first half. Only finished with 58. Routinely got the ball back and just couldn't do anything with it. They got the opening kickoff for the second half, got the ball at their own 40-yard line before they fumbled. They went 2 plays, 3 yards on that drive. Defense held TSU on that drive, on the ensuing drive. Got the ball back for Southern at their own 11. They went 3 and out, 8 yards on that. Got the ball back after TSU went for it and didn't get it. They got the ball at their own 8. Went 3 yards, 3 plays, 7 yards, and had the punt. They got the ball again in the third quarter at their own 25. They drove 11 yards on 7 plays, had the punt. TSU would score, and Southern would get the ball at their own 44 off of a really good kick return. They went 2 plays and 2 yards and threw an interception, giving TSU the ball with 8:56 left and a 10-point lead. Things looked rough. Defense got the ball back for them off of a turnover. Southern would get the ball after TSU would punt on their next possession, and they would drive 32 yards on 8 plays to kick the tying field goal, and then they would go 3 plays for 25 yards for the winning touchdown. So you look at this team, man, they did not have any drives. Both their touchdowns came on, on explosive plays. Other than that, no drives. I mean, they did miss a field goal at one point, but they did not really move the ball. And like I said, the passing game just really was not there. The running game, they had 2 home runs, or at least a home run and a double. Other than that, it was a lot of short runs, a lot of lost yardage. The offensive line, I thought they pass protected well on Saturday. They did have 5 sacks, but I think some of that was holding the ball a little bit too long. Some of it was scrambling and then just not either letting the ball go or just scrambling and just getting sacked. The run blocking wasn't spectacular, but I thought they opened up some holes. TSU just played, they played a really solid game defensively, but this is a team, like I said, man, they don't really have an identity. After 8 games, Southern's averaging 20. They're averaging like 23 points per game, which is up big time from the beginning of the season. But they're averaging 23 points a game after 8 games. They're averaging 337 yards of offense, which that's not great. Honestly, it's not great. But I'm not gonna take a lot away from them because of that, because Alcorn, who is also in first place, is averaging 347 total offense. So the running game has been better through the last few weeks. They're at 121 yards per game, but still not great. Especially not what you're used to. I think the passing offense has the last couple of weeks, the passing offense hasn't been that great. I thought they weren't spectacular against Bethune-Cookman, going 10 or 20. And this week they were 8 for 26. A lot of throws were just off. TSU made some good plays on a couple passes. But I think Southern's biggest problem is that they don't scheme for their guys. They don't throw a lot of short things. You got guys with great speed. You got guys with size. You got backs that can catch the ball in the backfield. You don't really use them a lot. You don't really use them much. Kendrick Grimes does have like 18 or 19 catches as a running back, but other than that, there's not a lot of, there's not a lot of screens. There's not a lot of, slants or anything like that. You don't work anything short unless it's like third and long, and then you working short. But I think the main thing is when you look at Southern, it starts and ends with the head guy. That's your offensive coordinator as well. So a lot of people feel like, he should let the reins go and, allow somebody else to do that. But when you have a head coach that calls his own plays, even if he had a guy as a titled offense coordinator, it would still probably be him calling the shots. So I don't see him relinquishing that just because, even with, a guy like Mark Frederick at Prairie View, I still think Dooley had a lot of hands on the offense. But I feel like this season they haven't really taken advantage of a lot of the skill sets of the guys. Now the offensive line had been banged up a lot early, which I think kind of set them back. You're playing a quarterback who is, up and down. This is, he's a fifth-year guy, but this is his first year starting, so of course there are going to be mistakes. But it seems like the passing game is regressing. A lot of unnecessary sacks, a lot of negative plays. You're behind the sticks a lot. Penalties are hurting and turnovers, which really, really hurt this team. This offense has turned the ball over 10 times on 9 times on interceptions with 10 touchdowns. So not a good touchdown to interception ratio. Just really struggling to move the ball consistently. They fumbled the ball 8 times, so they have 17 turnovers. And you constantly making your defense have to go right back on the field even after they get a big stop. And that's something hard. This offense is only converting 34% on third down. You're just really finding yourself in a lot of positions that you don't need to be in. So to me, can this offense be fixed? Of course, I'm an optimist, so I'm always say yes. I believe in my team, I believe that they can right the ship. And I still feel like, that it can happen. I go into every game, regardless of whether I pick Southern to win or I don't. I always go into that game feeling like the team can play better. I haven't really seen it though, and at eight games into the season with only 3 left, you kind of feel like this is what their team is, And I made a post on my Facebook page about this being what the team is and accepting that as that's what they are. And I wanted to clarify when I said that accepting who they are does not mean I'm excited and happy about the way the offense is playing. All I'm saying is I understand that this is what their team is going to be. Looking for them to be better and be more efficient, in the next 2 or 3 weeks is probably not going to happen. They're probably going to win these helter-skelter games. Defense is going to have to carry the load. The special teams is going to have to carry the load. And offense is going to have to chip in where they can and not get in the way. And that's probably going to be what this team is moving forward. You would love to see the 35-point offense, the 250 passing yard offense, the 185, 190 yard rushing offense, but that's not what this team is going to be, which is sad because this team has the individual guys on paper to do that. When you look at a guy like Kendrick Grimes who can hit the home run almost at any time, that's always a possibility. But the problem for me with this offense is I think you see a lot of times guys try to make that big play because they don't really feel like the offense is going to be able to drive the ball. So sometimes you see guys, bounce the ball outside when they could pick up, 4 or 5 yards inside. They try to bounce it outside to hit the big run because they know they need the yardage. Sometimes passes are just, slightly overthrown. Sometimes they're badly overthrown, and sometimes your receivers have a chance to make a play and they don't really get to. I haven't really seen a lot of drops from Southern this season, which, is good. But just to circle back and answer the question, do I think the offense can be fixed? Yes, I do, because I'm an optimist. But do I really think it's going to be fixed? I don't, because I don't really see the changes being made on the sideline by the coaches to put the team in better position. Your quarterback was 8 for 26 in that game. Um, you know, I don't see why you don't take him out. You know, I mean, maybe even if you don't pull him for the game, you know, take him out for a little while. Let him maybe see if you can get him settled down. You know, maybe he can see things better from now from the sideline, and you know, or maybe it's just not his night, and you give somebody else a shot. You know, you got 5 other quarterbacks on the roster. You've only played one guy sparingly, even in the couple games that you've had decent leads. So I feel like you're kind of handicapping yourself, and you're running into the same problem that you had last year with not being open to changing your guy. You know, I mean, you're sticking with this guy through thick and thin, and if you're that guy, then that's good for you because you don't have to look over your shoulder. But if you're a fan, it can be frustrating to see your quarterback struggling and not helping him out. You know, not even giving him short throws or even running the ball a little bit more. Just, you're not really giving him anything to settle him down. You know, you're just still letting him go out there and throw the ball around. It's kind of like a pitcher getting rocked and you keeping him in the game and you steady, you're not giving him anything to work with. You know, you're not trying to have him maybe, induce some ground balls to kind of get out of these innings. You just really got him just throwing as fast as he can, over the middle of the plate, and his ball's getting taken out of the park relentlessly. So you have to be able to give your guys an opportunity. You have to help your team. And I feel like at this point, I don't feel like Southern has done that. And that's probably the biggest issue for me this season is that a lot of missed opportunities. You could explain some of it away by saying they played Alabama State, they played Jackson State, they played FAMU. Alabama A&M defense was, has been playing pretty well this season. But then you look at against the other teams, but Pine Bluff was probably the best game this offense played, and they still had some lulls there. Lincoln was a solid game for a couple quarters, but that's Lincoln. Bethune-Cookman was a mixed bag. First quarter was not good. Second quarter was solid. Third quarter was third quarter was okay, and fourth quarter was and then this week the offense was just not good. I mean, there's no other way to put it. It was just not good. And can that be changed? I mean, with 3 games left, your whole season is in front of you. Your path to the SWAC championship is right there for you. You don't need any help. You just have to win. Can you count on your offense to play 3 solid games? I'm not saying, score 30, 40 points a game in these 3 games, but can you score 3 touchdowns and keep your defense from having to constantly come back on the field? Can you, even if you don't score, can you drive and flip the field? So many of these games, Southern plays defense on their side of the field because the offense can't move the ball to even flip the field, and change field position. So can you at least play complementary football in that aspect? Can you go on some drives to even keep your offense, keep your defense on the sideline, let them rest, take advantage of your special teams that you have a solid punter, you have a really good kicker. Can you take advantage of those guys as weapons and move the ball some, and it's going to be tough Saturday. We talk about the Alcorn game in my preview, but you got offense and Grambling coming up who can score points. So they're obviously going to test Southern's defense. Can this offense play in a shootout? I feel like 10-point margin, is dicey for this offense. Even I mean, it took a defensive touchdown to make this comeback last week. So can this team come back from a 14-0 lead like FAMU did against TSU 2 weeks ago? Can they come back, from a 17-7 game offensively? I don't know, and I like I said, I pick on Bama State offense a lot, and I picked on them a lot this season. But Southern's offense is right there with them. It's kind of confusing, you look at things, and things are just not the way they should be, and people are getting restless, and it's just tough to watch. It's tough to watch the offense not play well when they can play better, and that no help is on the way because the changes won't be made. So, like I said, just to circle back again, can Southern's offense be fixed? Of course it can. I mean, anybody's offense can be fixed theoretically. Will it be fixed? I don't see it happening. Alcorn's defense is very tough. Prairie View's defense, they've had some problems, but as we've seen against our defenses that have problems, Southern still has problems. So maybe, you know, maybe they can survive these 3 games and find a way to win them and make the SWAC championship game and see what happens. Or maybe their season ends in a week or 2 because the offense hasn't carried their weight. So I've mentally argued with a lot of people. I don't really argue online a lot, but I've mentally argued with a lot of people about the state of Southern's offense, and now I'm just like, you know, because I can't argue what's going on in front of me. So that's gonna do it for today's show, man. I thank y'all for tuning in. We got our HBCU top 10 coming at you tomorrow. Week 10 preview coming Wednesday. SWAC Smoke on Thursday. Week 10 recap on Sunday. Like I said, I just wanted to throw this out there. No intro, no nothing. But make sure y'all subscribe and keep rocking with us. So hopefully I don't have to make another video like this. But if I do, it's gonna probably be one about some changes need to be made, in all areas. So with that being said, I'm your tour guide around the SWAC signing out, and I'll catch y'all on the rebound. Peace.